Hello and welcome to the Hair Detect podcast. I'm Jen.
And I'm Amber.
We are so excited because today we have with us Lucretia May. Lucretia, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself for us?
Okay, first I'd like to start off with a disclaimer that these are only my views and these don't reflect the views of my organization as we go through. So as I'm giving this is my opinion, not necessarily what we do at work.
Sure.
So I've been in the information technology field for over 20 years, and I was in a supervisor role managing project managers. Now I'm in a project management role over risk controls and compliance. I helped, even start up a PMO area at one point in my career. I spent most of my time in development. So half and half between systems developer. Actually, I think now they call them systems engineers, but developing code.
Sure.
I code over 10 languages, only speak one. So my spoken languages have not caught up to my computer languages. And I've been in everything from healthcare, education, utilities. I've been in just a lot of different IT areas, industries with my skills. In 2013, I pursued my master's in project management and also went for my PMP certification.
Wow, that's great. So a couple of terms there that I'll bet you didn't know what they are. Would you please tell Amber what a PMO is and then what a PMP is?
PMO is a project management office, so they actually do all the governance for your project managers. You can go there and get your templates, your tools. If you need help or with anything, they'll help guide you. So that's who a PMO office is. They're actually the office.
Gotcha.
Right, and then the PMP, I think, is a certification?
Yes, it's the project management certification from PMI, which is the Project Management Institute.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
So project managers are kind of awesome because they're like the glue that holds the whole project together. It's really hard to keep track of a lot of things, especially if you have a large group of people all working on the same thing. So I know that you usually have kind of a list of questions about work and stuff. Do you want to
say just a little bit more? And actually, Amber, you probably are already doing project management. And by the way, I got just a little plug here. I got my project management degree online from Boston University, which was very excellent. It was excellent. Because I was working and I liked their program, but I didn't have time to go back into class. So that online back then in 2011 to 13 really helped me get my degree.
Fantastic. That's a topic that we have discussed before is people who do online versus in person and whether it's valuable. So I'm super happy that you mentioned that.
Yes, very nice program. And like I said, you're probably already doing project management because project management is just like a conductor. You're coordinating everybody together as to where they need to be and at what time and when you need to start it.
Okay.
So you're probably even working with the shipments and payables and receivables. We have a budget with project management. So you're working a budget, you're working communications. Your communications, as we call it, would be stakeholders. Your stakeholders are the people who influence your project, either positive or negative, internal or external. So let's say at a beauty shop you own, and one of your stakeholders could be the city's getting ready to rip up your sidewalk. So you need to deal with them ripping up your sidewalk where your customers can't come in. Okay. So that's why I say a lot of people in the industry think it's just IT. No, project management crosses all industries. And that's why when you get your certification, it's not industry specific. It would help you even in your beauty shop and running your beauty shop.
That is such a good point. Thank you for bringing that up. I had no idea that project management had a certification.
Yeah.
Because, my world has been hair for so long. So this has been so educational as far as just the entire world outside of hair. So project management. I didn't even realize that there was a degree in project management. So
yes, there is.
Degree and certification. So,
and that you're probably already doing it too with that. You're already doing project management, I bet.
Yes. I think in our first episode we talked about, or I described a few of the hats that hairstylists wear, and as do many business owners and many, many people. It's not just like, this is the job you do. It's like, this is the title you have, and these are the all of the things that you do within that. So, yeah,
sure.
Project management. Yeah.
So what kind of questions did you have about Did you write them down?
Yes, I did.
Oh my gosh.
I have to keep a list or else I'll forget.
Yes.
Okay. All
Yes. That's project management.
They're right there.
Perfect. I use Asana for my project management.
Yes.
It keeps me
Yes.
it keeps me on my
Keep
game.
track of everything.
Yes, exactly. It's kind of satisfying to, oh, that's a good idea. Grrr, log it.
Yeah.
So I
Yes.
don't forget it.
Sure.
So what does a typical day look like for you? Workday. Typical workday.
A typical day in project management can consist of so first you have to be authorized to work on a project. So your company has to say, we're going to give you resources and dollars to do this project. So then you would get that project, and now you need to bring all these people in together and get them all on the same page. One of the things you start off with when you're project management, you review high level your budget, high level any assumptions that they have. Like we're assuming that you already have the computer system there. Any limitations you might have. We need this by such and such date. So you're reviewing all of that first, and then you're going to bring in everybody, like I said, that we call them stakeholders. And your stakeholders is everybody on your team, because you want them to have buy-in to this project. Because a lot of people, when you exclude them in the beginning, they won't have good buy-in. They could be negatively trying to do things to you because you did not ask them at first. So you bring your everybody in and get everybody on the same page. And from there, like I said, your communications, project management is maybe 90% communications. You're communicating up, you're communicating down, you're communicating sides. You are doing so much communications, and you have to find out the venue people like to be communicated to, where it's like, Jen, she might want to be an email person. Somebody else may say, well, just pop your head in here. Or somebody say, well, just have a quick stand-up meeting every so often. So you got to keep track of those in a matrix, the people and how they want to be communicated and how often they want to be communicated. We put together also matrix to tell you how far you're progressing, if you're falling behind in some tasks. And then you got to know, well, how do I bring those tasks back into a line where they do still finish on time? So it's a lot of, like I said, coordinating and watching your budget. You got to watch your budgets. If resources are having problems, your resources can have what we call a triple constraint. So they can have cost, times, or money that is causing issues, and you have to straighten those things out. You have to be the person to go in there and not just come with a problem, but you also have to come with some solutions. I generally try to come with 3 options. And sometimes they don't pick any of those options, but at least it knows you're thinking of, here are some things we can do to remediate this problem.
Okay.
Right. I loved what you said just now about they don't want to. They'll work against you if you didn't ask them, even if it's the right thing to do. Even if they originally would want to do that, but people, the way we are as humans, you gotta ask, and then people are on board. But even if they, kind of feel like it's the right thing to do, they'll just get really negative and very work against you if you don't communicate that to begin with. And yeah,
Correct.
love that you said that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then in project management, you have these processes you go to: initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, controlling, and closing. And then you have these different knowledge areas you're going to be working in. Like I said, communications, your costs, your time, your budget, your stakeholders, your procurement, because you may need to do some contracts to hire external people or purchase equipment. So you're busy juggling all of those things.
That sounds like a lot. It's keeping all the plates spinning well at the same time. Yeah.
So like you said about writing things down and your reaction. So, okay, full disclosure, I was a technical project manager for a very short time, like a year and a half, maybe 2 years, about 10 years ago. I thought it was something that I would enjoy, and the plate spinning got to me.
Yes.
That is something that you have to have a certain mindset and ability to really handle all of those things going on at once.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes, I think, remembering it, and maybe, who knows, maybe I just did it poorly, but looking at your lists and looking at how you're tracking every single day at what's going on.
Yes, you have a lot of matrices that you're monitoring. Like I said, you're monitoring how are you on schedule, and you have multiple tasks. I was even managing projects of over $1 million with 25 people on some of them, more than 25 people, and some aren't even in this country, so they're all over the place. So you're just doing a lot of juggling that, and then you're keeping upper management, involved, and also all other teams.
Right.
So you're like the go-to person for your team and the upper teams. Like everyone is coming to you.
Yes.
Wow.
You're that circus leader in the three-ring circus.
Does that change much based on what you're doing now with governance and compliance? Is that shifted the work much for you?
Yes, it has. It shifted a lot because now I don't have to do budgets and everything because everybody wants everything to be compliant. So they're going to go ahead and give you the resources to do your work to get compliant and everything. I keep some matrices, but they might be different matrices. It might be a matrices on how we're doing with remediating an issue and reporting those back on the issues.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, my phone locked me out. Okay.
And I remember when I was at school, I was studying a project, the Boston one. Have you heard of the Big Dig? So now
Yeah.
they were coordinating the parks going in, the garages, and all of that sort of stuff, the construction and in and out, things like that. They were keeping track of. And then you got risks that you're watching. One of the things with the Big Dig that happened was they put the wrong size screws in it, so some of the screws fell out, and some parts of the tunnel was collapsing, and it damaged somebody's car and maybe injured them even. I'm not sure, but you have to allow for these risks of known and known knowns, and then you have unknown knowns, unknown unknowns. So
Right.
you have to allow for all these different risks to come in and how you're going to handle these risks. So you're watching risks too.
Just one more thing to add to the plate, right? Just one more
Just
thing
one
to
more
think
thing.
about.
Yeah.
So you mentioned just very briefly that you are the coordinator, if you will, between your team and then the upper people. Does it depend on what type of project you're on, like how often you are reporting to everyone?
Well, some of the smaller ones, because I've been on all sizes. Some of the smaller ones, you really don't have to report back to senior management, or they just only want an email or just say, "Hey, I'm done." But when you get, like I said, into those $1 million ones, you're reporting. Like we might do monthlies, or depending on how soon it's due, you could be meeting twice a month. So it just depends on how often they're going to be due. You want to keep those executive leaders informed because those are the people that's going to back you when something's right. So that you want them to always know what's going on. And like I said, different options if they need to take different options. Because the final say so in the option is theirs. It's not for the project manager to just go implement something. It's them because they may have to give you more money. They may have to give you more resources or something else. So they're the people you're going to have to go back to. And that's why you want to keep them informed. Some of those projects impact your organizations at a higher level. And that's why you want to keep them informed too.
Okay,
Sure.
that totally makes sense. So within your role currently, how much autonomy would you say that you have?
I can run my day any way I want to. Yes.
Okay.
And most project managers do.
Okay.
They run it all. They run it all.
Gotcha. Just as long as everything is getting checked.
Yes, because
Okay.
they don't really micromanage you down to the level as to what you're doing. So, and even when you're managing the people, so the people that you're managing is kind of a little hard because they're not your direct reports. They're only to you assigned due to the project. So you have to keep them happy, but you don't have a lot of wiggle room ways to keep them happy. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So sometimes like I would do for them was, print out a little award for them, or it's like, hey, let's go up and have a little something to eat up here at after work or something. You can do little things like that. Or you worked late that night. Why don't you stay in a little later in the morning? So since they're not your direct reports, you can't do too much, but you can do some things for them.
Okay. Cool. How many hours a day would you say that you're actually working and doing things? Sounds like with project management, that's a lot.
All of them.
All of them. Like
It is.
checking in with people all the time.
I would say the whole time I'm at work, but even sometimes I work later because I give myself, like you said, a checklist, and I want to get all these things done in a day for my day that I want to get through. But some people else may need me for some things, so I'm going over here to help that person or do that. Or and this question took me down another avenue. So I have a list of all the things I want to get through. I may get to them by the time I get off work, but I may not get to them for the time I get off work. But I still may stay a couple hours. I try to not stay any longer than maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours, and just say, well, I got to cut it off.
Right.
But yes.
Okay.
But I would say project management is more than a 40-hour week job.
Yeah. It's
You're not going to the 80s and 90s and all of that, but you're generally, especially when you go into installs, because if you think about it, most companies can't have their computer down for you to install something. So you may have to work nights and weekends to do those installs or things like that. You got to do some testing, and you have to do off hours testing and things like that.
Okay.
So, but usually when you get into deployment, closer to deployment, you may get into more hours.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you have any recommendations for finding a good company culture, like just a good, pleasant environment to work in? And I know that's different from person to person, but
Yeah, it's different person to person.
what for
But
you have you found that's helpful?
yes, I like the organization I'm at because they're for the people, our employees, and everything. They do a lot of nice things for us. Like we have company events. We participate in the community and go out and do community fundraisers and things like that. So I really like this company culture. And then I'm in the healthcare industry, so we're helping people, and that's what I like. We're helping people who need medical supplies.
That's so. I've seen that people kind of get satisfaction from their job from a couple things. One is autonomy, which for sure project managers have a lot of, and for some people, it's feeling like they're part of something bigger, something that aligns with their values. Which sounds like that matters
Yeah.
a lot to you, and it's that's a big one for a lot of people. I can't remember what else.
And it really does align with mine because I do a lot of volunteer services in my community and my church. I'm a big volunteer
Nice.
person with
Mhm.
high school youth group at my church of St. Rita's that I've been at over 30 years. And I just do a rebuilding together where we help seniors, veterans, and disabled people. We go out in the community and help them fix up their homes and stuff
Oh,
so they can
wow.
stay in their homes. I do things like that a lot.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Oh, I remember what the third thing was. People like their jobs when they're good at it or when they have the ability to get better at it. So sometimes people look for opportunities for like training.
Yes, a lot of learning, and I do a lot
Yeah.
of my training on my own. I took a strength finder test, and one of my strengths said I was a learner, and I do tend to just be up at night, just reading and looking and researching what viruses out there, what kind of havoc did it cause, who got hacked over here, what's going on. I do a lot of reading and everything. Yes.
Awesome.
That is
But I'm
awesome.
also a woo person too, and woo means winning people over.
Yeah.
I'm a people person too, and that helped with my project management because I'm a people person. In fact, when I was a developer, a lot of people say, You don't seem like a developer. Those are people usually just introverts, and that is totally not you, Lucretia."
But it seems like at least the minimal amount that I know about the tech world, like you said, communication is so huge.
Yes.
So if you don't know how to communicate, like that seems like that's when you run into a lot of problems. So having those people skills or solid communication skills so you can communicate, that's huge.
Yeah, they'll refer to those as your soft skills. And you do
Mm-hmm.
have to be really good with your soft skills, which is also includes your oral and written communication, your
Yeah.
body languages and reading people.
Right.
Huge,
So
huge.
a person can tell you one thing, but their body language is telling you something totally different.
Oh my
And you
gosh.
have to address that. You can't just let them, oh, well, they didn't say anything. I'm not going to worry about it. You have to address those because they're going to bubble up and cause you problems in a project.
I've definitely had that happen in the salon when people like at the end, okay, how do you feel about your hair? And they're like, I like it. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you don't like it. Tell me what you don't like about it. Like you are not going to hurt my feelings. We have to get to the bottom of this. So body language, huge, huge, huge.
So that skill that you have from hair would translate well into project management because, like Lucretia was saying, you don't manage the people that you're doing the project management for.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to sometimes get them to come along in other different ways, and knowing people's body language, I'm sure, would only help with that.
Yeah.
Correct.
That also, that reminds me of when we spoke with, was it Holly? Social engineering, right?
Yes.
That's definitely social engineering. Like, what are you actually saying to me without your words right now?
Yes.
Navigating that.
So, yeah, a lot of project managers have to use social engineering tactics to get people to do things, quicker or prioritize or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I
And then
think
you have to deal with conflict too. A lot of conflict. You can come up with conflict in people, or you can come up with conflicts let's say your project, it needs to get done, but now they're saying, okay, we're going to bump your project because we need this other project. So now you've got a conflict. There are two competing projects. How do you verse, well, this one needs to actually still keep going.
Right.
So you've got a lot of conflicts you handle too when you're a project manager. And that's another thing they teach you is conflict resolutions.
Gotcha. That seems like that can get pretty precarious sometimes if you're having to tell different teams that's yeah. I think that's how did you initially get involved in the tech world? Like what drew you to this? What drew you to this?
Well, it's funny that you should say that because God drew me to this. I'm going to tell you, he actually did guide me into technology. I thought I wanted to be a lawyer and wanted to go off to law school and all of that. And I got accepted into a school. It was called Virginia Tech now it's Hampton. Now it's called Hampton Institute. They're already a university even now. So I got accepted there, but my mother and them didn't want me to leave to go off to college. So being the empty-headed 17-year-old I am, I thought, well, I can't go there. I can't be a lawyer. So from there, I just started down spiraling and just hit rock bottom because I didn't know what to do at that point. And God, I saw the friend of mine, because we still keep in touch on Facebook. He sent a guardian angel to me and said, you got to pick yourself up. You can do this. There's other alternatives. Just don't shut down. Don't shut down on me yet, Lucretia. I need you. So she took me and said, let's go talk to this computer guy. He's local in Cleveland. He's in downtown Cleveland. Let's go talk to him. And I went and talked to him, and that's how I got into computers and been on that road ever since.
Wow, that's awesome.
That is awesome. So when you had that conversation with him, was it like an immediate, like, wow, I dig this, I want to pursue that? Or was it like something that kept coming up in your mind?
I think I tend to lean to that anyway too, because I was into math a lot, and we had a computer class. I actually had like 5 years of math, high school math, because I would just take just extra high school math classes just to be in a math class.
Okay.
And computer classes.
Great.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. I sit around figuring out math problems just by sitting down and just writing out and doing math problems. So when I went to talk to him, he said, yeah, it sounds like this would be a really good thing. And you just got to take a test and you can ace a test. But for me, I'm not a person that can just ace tests because I get very high test anxieties. Really bad. I get really bad test anxieties. And that's another reason why Boston U Online worked for me. I could set my time up and my schedule when to take that test. So I took breathing exercises before I went to the test. When I was in my undergrad, I had test anxiety so bad that I had a temporary blindness where I thought I had a blank sheet of paper and no questions was on that paper.
Oh, wow.
And my teacher got me to calm down, and it's like words just started appearing.
Nice.
So I started fretting and getting nervous because he was asking me now to take a test, and I knew I had bad test anxiety. But when I went in there and took that test, it was nothing. I was finished. And I'm like, well, is this it? It was nothing to get all worked up about because it was things I had already known and had done.
Nice. So it was exactly right for you.
It was right for me. And then, like I told you, I pick up language very quickly. I can read the binaries, the ones and zeros. I can still look at those and read those. I can read ASCII, Arabic, Fortran, EasyTree, C++, and C+. I just read so many different languages in COBOL. They're just so easy for me to pick up on computer languages.
Nice.
You just mentioned...
You probably don't know any of those languages, though, because they're ancient, probably like the Greek.
Well, I was going to say, I've heard of a few of those, but some of those I definitely have not heard of.
Yeah.
Would you say that once you learned a couple of languages, was it easier to find similarities between the different languages? So it was like kind of a snowball effect?
It was, and I think because I learned machine languages first, and machine languages is where you're actually manipulating registers and talking directly into the computer. So you're manipulating these registers to tell it what you want to do. So from there and reading that, I think, yes, that gave me the foundation to be easily to work these other languages. And then COBOL was so wordy. It was like he was writing a hook with ball. And from there, everything just shortened and cut back, so it made it easier. And I think I heard some people say that machine languages are harder for them because they never started out maybe with the machine languages that I had when I started out.
I see.
You know, the COBOL, strangely enough, some COBOL programmers are in demand right now because some of the old, especially like state and federal level programs, applications were written in COBOL and never updated, and now they need help, and people are like, nobody does that anymore, right? It's one of those old languages, but still in a lot of mainframes, a lot of the old machines.
Yes, because that's their old backbone legacy systems are still there, and I think the government might still have them. I think they also still may do some machine languages like Fortran. I think those are still there.
Yeah, I think you're right. But probably not, like you said, probably not the direction to go. If you're interested in development, you probably want to do something new and cool. So
yeah, the HTML and things like that. Yes, for the websites and things like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, did you have any other questions?
I don't think so. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I
really enjoyed talking to you.
Seriously.
Thank you
And
very much for joining us.
Let me know what you decide too. You'll have to keep in touch and let me know what you decide.
Oh,
That's one of the other things I do is I also do help project managers pass their test for the PMP certification. I volunteer and do that too.
Oh, that's awesome.
amazing.
You were just saying,
incredible.
how do I use LinkedIn? Here's how you do it. You stay in touch with Lucretia.
Yes, I know.
I know what you mean.
All right. Well, thank you again, and talk to you again in the future.
Yes.
so
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. What'd you think?
Dude, she's amazing.
I know.
Like,
I knew you would enjoy talking to her.
Just incredible. I think women in tech, there is something so magical about all of you. I feel, and I think I've said that before, but it's like, God, you're rad.
Well,
You're
this is
so
the magic
cool.
you need in your life.
Seriously.
Really. So, you know what we should do?
What's that?
Get you on some of the calls, like where I'm meeting people like Lucretia. So there's some mentoring calls. Noreen George, who has said she would come and talk to you. I know.
I started following her because I know she does mentoring, right?
She does, and she has this regular call. So I'll get you on that call with her, and we'll ask her to come and talk to you on our show. But that's where I met Lucretia, and I was like, oh, she's really smart. She has all of these comments. We should talk to her. So
Yeah, so cool.
what do you think about project management as a?
I think it sounds like a lot, and I think that I really appreciate that Lucretia pointed out that I probably already do it. Many of us probably do elements of project management without realizing it, because I mean that's how this world goes around, right?
Sure.
Like just scheduling. Hey, when can you come over? Oh, hey, we want to do this thing. Friends,
Right.
Like it's figuring out all of the details.
And running a small business, there's no way you can run a small business and not be a project manager.
No way, especially when I'm the only one wearing all of the hats. It's a lot to do. So I'm glad that I already know how to do it. I don't know that I would necessarily how I would handle a team, because I'm so used to being a one-woman show that I'm like, whoa, how would I handle those, like when she said there's conflicts, how do you handle those conflicts if you have to?
That's the main reason that I left project management.
Right.
But also I really like the technology side of things, and so it was one of those brief things of why all I'm doing is dealing with people.
Right. And I think that's part of why I'm on this journey, is because hair is all people, and I'm like, I've had my fellow people for right now. Thank you. So it's,
you're never going to get away from people.
no, never. And
But
yes.
you don't have to go full bore into project management with all the people that it involves. Cool job, though.
Right. And like, thank God we have brilliant people like Lucretia that are able to just like handle it and be very organized
and knowing more about her job will help you as you transition into tech, because I doubt there's a way that you're going to go into tech without being led by a project manager at some point.
Right. For sure.
All right.
Sure. Yeah.
Well,
awesome.
This has been super fun. We have more people lined up. I have another pen tester lined up.
Oh, I'm so
You were so
excited.
excited about the last one. I thought, we got to get another one. But also we have some other people that are going to be joining us on the show. Can't wait for you to meet all of them and see what kind of work they do. And I hope you guys join us again on our next episode. Make sure that you subscribe. And I don't know, what do they say? Subscribe and like. And
give us a thumbs up.
Oh, yeah.
don't forget to turn that bell on so you get notifications. That's a newer one too.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I was going to tell you. So I've been following Digital Empress on YouTube, who is amazing. She is in cybersecurity, and I don't know exactly what she does, but she recommended this book called Exploited. Is that what it's called? It's all about being like hacking, and it's a thick book. And
it's weird. I feel like you're kind of leaning hard into one direction.
I am.
And I'm not talking about the band.
One Direction. I wish I knew one of their songs so I could.
I know. You'd sing for us right now.
Yes, I would. I totally would. But as I'm learning more and like hearing more about what pen testers do, or just within cybersecurity, I don't know. There's something so cool about it to me that's like, wait, so I'm encouraged to think like a bad guy so I can help you?
Yeah.
I'm into that.
It's fun.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right. I'll get more cybersecurity and pen testing people on to talk to you. So
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Looking forward to the next time.
Until then, I'm Amber.
And I am Jen. Take care.
See ya.